Record of 6-0. And Chisholm, 21 years of age. They have his record 2-5. He last fought in January of 1992. Won a 4-round decision. Of course, Lathon, all of his fights have ended in knockout. Let's go to Ed Darien for the introduction of the fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is scheduled for 6 rounds, and it's in a light heavyweight division. The referee is Rudy Battle. Introducing first in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with the gold trim. He weighed in at an even 180 pounds. This fella has 2 wins and 5 losses from Richmond Hill, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome aboard Kenny Chisholm. Chisholm. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the red trim. Now he tipped in at an even 175 pounds. He is undefeated in 6 pro bouts with 6 straight knockouts. All the way from St. Louis, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the Trump Plaza, Ray Lethal Weapon Lathon. Lathon.
Of course, the lethal weapon. We talked about the fact that this 25-year-old at 175 pounds, all knockouts. We saw him in his second pro fight here on BET. That lasted all of 2 minutes and 37 seconds of the first round. I think it was either a guy named Eric Cole or William Noor, but it was at the Trump Castle here in Atlantic City. And that was back in July of 1990.
Now, let's keep an eye open on this one, Charlie. As you know, Ray Lathon has a tendency to fight like he's double parked in traffic. I think we've missed a bet. We could probably put the BET logo on the soles of his opponent's feet. Get some free advertising time.
But Chisholm, who talked to me earlier, said, of course, he's heard about Lathon. He had a 15-2 record as an amateur. He got interested in fighting through a friend. He said he was fighting street fights up in Massachusetts and figured, why not make some money doing it?
What makes Lathon so very difficult to fight is that he punches so very hard, and he's a southpaw. I mean, there aren't too many southpaw light heavyweights out there, and so the guys who try to prepare for him really have a real difficult task of getting ready.
You know, one of the things I talked about Ray Lathon, we talked earlier today, and he was saying that one of the things that he has learned in his 6 fights so far is he's learned to settle down a little more. He's adjusted his style coming out. You know, sometimes he comes out and he gets so excited, adrenaline's pumping, and he's so used to knocking people out so early, you know, he gets carried away, and that could be dangerous somewhere down the line. You know, he's going to walk into somebody one of these days that's going to sit him on his heels.
That's the truth. One of the problems with Ray Lathon's early endings is that he hasn't got a chance to practice his craft. The gym is not the same thing. He's been in some very good wars in the gym, but it's not the same thing as a live bout.
In fact, the only fight that's gone close to the distance was his last outing, which was in October of 1991, in which he won with a 5th round knockout, but he fought the last 4 rounds with a broken left hand. And he finally knocked his opponent out. Of course, his opponent didn't know he had a broken hand. He broke it in the 1st round.
As I said, Ray punches very hard. One thing I think that his people will certainly be counseling him about in the break between rounds is to go back to using that left jab, the right jab.
Well, he said the difference in that fight was the body shots to his opponent. That young man was Anthony Williams, the young man he beat in October. Roundhouse right by Kenny Chisholm. Good right by Lathon, and Chisholm is down.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's it. With about 30 seconds left in round 1, and of course Lathon again goes to 7-0 with another knockout.
Yeah.
The big right hand, he came across, caught his opponent high on the temple, on the left temple, and it was the power in that right jab.
It went a while. Kenny Chisholm took the brunt of that right hand right in front of us, and he went down hard on the canvas. He wasn't totally knocked out. He was still awake, but for all practical purposes, it was all over.
There wasn't much for him to go on for. And I think before people make the mistake of looking at what happened here and thinking that this fighter gave up without a fight, he took a lot of solid shots in the course of that round.
Let's watch some of those solid shots. There's one right there. That's the right that started it all. And here comes another one on the back of the head. And Lathon kind of lines him up with an uppercut, which that left didn't do anything.
Yeah,
but that uppercut kind of was the exclamation point. Here's the first one that started it. The second one. And here comes the uppercut.
This move here, holding and hitting, is straight out of the don't book in the Marcus of Queensberry rules.
Kenny Chisholm.
Eyes are clear. He looks like he's going to be all right, Charlie.
Fought as an amateur, 17 amateur fights, comes from a family of 8 brothers and sisters. He says he has a weakness as his defense, and it showed up there.
That's right.
The time of this bout, 2 minutes and 40 seconds of the first round, and the winner by a knockout, and still undefeated, Ray Lethal Weapon Lathon. And how about a nice round of applause for Kenny Chisholm. Let's hear it for him. Maestro, please.
Ray Lathon, 2 minutes and 40 seconds of round number 1 against Kenny Chisholm. And our Leland Hardy's in the ring, and we'll be talking to him momentarily as soon as they cut the tape off of his hands and get the gloves off. But he's continuing to be impressive in that light heavyweight division with guys like Charles the Truth and Andrew Maynard, Harding, Virgil Hill, Frank Tate, Barkley, Thomas Hearns. I mean, yeah. He's making a name for himself.
He is making a name for himself. I don't think he's ready for any of those people yet, though.
All right. Leland?
I'm right here with Lethal Weapon Ray Lathon. I'm going to tell you right now, we've got a couple of million BET viewers that are going to be kind of upset with you. You won't let anybody let you see you fight. You're taking all your guys out in the first round.
Well, it ain't done intensely, you know. I come out here for the work, but if opportunity knocks, I got to take it.
Now, one of the things we've seen, and we've seen you develop here on BET, is that you've started to settle down a little bit with your shots. You used to come out and flail away and get over anxious early in the fight. This time it looked like you stepped back, looked at your shots, and threw a few jabs. Is that something you've been working on in the gymnasium?
Yeah, because, you know, I come over to the professional ranks from the amateurs, and amateur was 3 minutes, for 3 rounds, and you had to jump on a guy to win. And amateur, it ain't no win, lose, or draw. It's win or lose. But in the professional ranks, I learned to slow down a little bit, maintain myself, and try to be a much more better boxer than such a banger.
Now, let me ask you a question. What do you look to do, let's say, in the next year? You've had 7 fights. You've gotten all your guys out of there, big punches. Are you looking at some of the names or starting to talk and think about some of the names in the division now?
Well, you know, I leave it up to my managers and whatnot, but they talking good, so we might, this time next year, we might be up in the top 10 or something.
Now, about this specific fight, first few seconds of the fight, guy came out very wild, very determined. It was no joke. He was throwing big shots. Is that something that you anticipated, a guy coming in with an unheralded record, or did you think the guy was going to just lay down for you?
Well, I figured on a guy jumping out the gate on me, you know, because a lot of these guys heard about me from the amateurs, and, you know, so they have a tendency to jump out the gate and come at you all wild, so I had to set the tempo in there. So I just try to box him.
Well, you set the tempo right this time, and you got him out of there. Congratulations, another big win. Back to Charlie.
All right, thanks. Take it easy.
All right, Leland, he had only 8 losses as an amateur, and he says he doesn't try to do it intentionally. I'll sell you some land on the on the river. We'll be back. Go back to the Imperial Ballroom at Trump Plaza's Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City.